Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you are doing well. We are here with my favorite video of the week. It is my trade targets review video, whatever you want to call it. It's looking at the most traded in and out players of the round ahead of round 17 of the AFL season. We are back to 2 trades a week, and it is critical that we get these moves right. So if you're excited for this video, make sure you smash a thumbs up on the video. Let's jump straight into the most traded in players of the week, starting with Harry Ralston. If you've seen my team review video, he is currently in my setup. He goes West Coast into Geelong into Essendon. It is a good 3-game run for midfielders. As long as he's in the side, he will at least be that third banana in there for us. So I'm very, very keen on a Harry Ralston. So I would be definitely going there if you need a downgrade option. Archer May, this is one who, if you are desperate for a playing forward rookie, I can't see him not playing, but I don't know how much cash he's going to make. It's dictated on can he get marks and goals. Against Fremantle, kicked the 2 goals, had 6 marks, had 3 tackles, did play a very, very good game for Essendon, and they are desperate for players in their side. So if you are looking for a forward rookie sort of downgrade target, I would 100% look at May over Auger. Although Auger did drop a 70, no, he dropped a 60 on the weekend, and that included 2 goals as well. I just think, well, there is potential with Tom Lynch being suspended that he could actually play decent game time. He has a break even of 6. He's priced at 240 compared to 296. So if you need the cash, I don't mind going Auger, but I'd rather go Archer May. The first proper player in the trade-in is Jai Caldwell. He's been traded in by 2.5 thousand coaches, and his ownership is just a touch under 5%. I spoke about him in my team review. I love this body of work that he's been putting up. He has just been going absolutely crazy in somewhat limited game time. This is what worries me a little bit with Jai Caldwell. He does float around the 75 to 80% time on ground. Are there going to be opportunities where he potentially gets stuck on the bench, which would concern me significantly as an owner? But he's just got such a high ceiling. He gets marks, he gets tackles, he racks the ball up, he's around the footy, he kicks goals. He's just a great football player, and if his body can hold up, he could easily be a top 4, top 5 mid for us this season, priced at just over $1 million. I love this pick. I have to make the decision between him and Nick Martin, who is significantly down the list on trade-ins. But the reason he's probably down the list on trade-ins is because he's 30% owned. So I'm making the call of I'm going Nick Martin, which goes against the break-even game. But I think if he goes crazy in these next 2 weeks and I don't have him, that is going to absolutely torch me at the rank that I'm at. So I love Jai Caldwell. I'm probably looking at him next week ahead of the Richmond game and just praying that Gold Coast don't let him get off the chain too much. Next is Tom Green. So between Green, Caldwell, if you want to go value, then Tom Green is great value. Going into this West Coast matchup as well, fresh off the bye, then gets Geelong, Essendon and Sydney, is a great run for Tom Green. I worry that his floor is probably a touch too low as well. So if things don't go his way with regards to tackles and marks, then the score really drops off. So, he scored a 120 with 9 tackles and 4 marks and a 1 goal too. I think he needs at least 3 or 4 marks plus 4 to 5 tackles in order to get those ceiling scores. And I just don't know if he's got that. His kick to handball ratio is not fantastic normally as well, but he's extremely good value, priced at 98, and he's going at 102 on the season. I think that's fair value. You're getting him, 7 points of value there. So Tom Green, great option. Tom McCarthy, how many people? 2,000 people are bringing him in this week. I feel like if you haven't got him, you just need him. Minus 38 break even is the absolute #1 distributor of halfback for West Coast. If you didn't, you should have brought him in last week, but I will 100% make sure that you get him in this week. Now, Sam Flanders is interesting because at 680k, he is extreme value. Down 427,000 on the season. We've seen 2 games now where he's been up around the footy. The mark numbers are starting to creep up there as well, which is, what we want to see from him sort of being around the footy. Tackles, I'd love to see these up at about 4 or 5 as well. I'm okay with waiting another week. I know it's Essendon, so you can get really aggressive and attack, a green fixture, because Collingwood's not fantastic. Neither's Adelaide, neither's Brisbane. But if you wanted to get off of Callum Mills, I could understand why. And if it was the only way you could make money, then I wouldn't be against it. So Sam Flanders can definitely be brought in, I think, for the right option. Like, even if you've got a Cooper Lord like I do, you're not having to spend too much money turning Cooper Lord into Sam Flanders. And if you said that at the start of the year, then you would have said I was crazy. So I'm not going to go and do it because I still don't think the CBAs are there. Like, I know he's pushing up to stoppage, but I don't know. I feel like there's just too much opportunity for this to not be great, and the ratio is not fantastic either. I'd love to see him kicking the footy a lot more because he is a good kick of the ball. So I'm happy to kind of let this one go and pray that it doesn't burn me, but I can see why lots of people, almost 2,000 people are bringing him in. Errol, I actually love this move. I think, he's a bit more on the outside. He gets those marks. He's had, He had 6 marks this week, which he had none against Port Adelaide. He had 17 kicks and 1 handball against Port in limited game time as well. But, we know what Port are like. They're very restrictive. He's gone and had 7 tackles and 6 marks. He's just a great footballer. Back up at 90% time on ground. Don't be surprised if over the next, week or two, he's up around 95%. If you're looking at him or Jai Caldwell, you're probably leaning Caldwell this week, but I would love to see what he does against Fremantle, and then going into St Kilda, North, the Giants, Essendon, and then get to Geelong and West Coast. I think there's a world where next week, when I'm making this decision between Caldwell and Goulden, that I actually go Goulden. So he's owned by 2% of people. All I want from Goulden is to go at about 100, just so he drops a touch. But if he goes 71, 124, say 105 even, then I will 100% launch into that against St Kilda, because his injury was a leg injury. It wasn't a hamstring, or it wasn't, a quad. So I think, once he's up and running, then I'm very happy to launch into Errol, and he'll be a huge pod going into the back end of the season. Colby, I love this move. He's starting to lose value now. 76 is what he's priced at. Average is 70, but, his average over the last 5 is 83, and his average over the last 3 is 95. Massive, massive value. Big green tick going there if you needed to, say, get off of a Lockie Whitfield. Now, Dan Curtin. I was looking at this move a couple of weeks ago, and if I'd done it, I would have been very happy with myself. He had pretty much 4 scores between 70 and 80, and then pops a huge one with a big boost on the time on ground. Now, he's starting to play more wing time, so there will be some volatile games where the ball gets caught on the other wing, but 8 marks, 5 tackles, 2 goals. Has Melbourne. The run's not great, but it's 650. Like, I'd personally rather go Dan Curtin over Sam Flanders, because that wing is his spot. And if he was your F6 or even your F7 at 650k, I think you could do a lot worse than a Dan Curtin. So they're the main targets this week. I don't think anyone's really going Will Dawson. Granted, he's priced at 250 and played 85% game time, but I don't know how I feel about that. 19-year-old defender, again, had 5 marks, had good time on ground, but I just wouldn't be buying a key defender from North Melbourne. Max Holmes is bang at, almost 1.1 million, but gets Richmond now and then gets him in round 24 with some other good games in there. I think Max Holmes could be a good pod at 30% own. Luke Jackson's an interesting conversation to have as well. I think he's probably priced fairly, priced at just over 100, and the last 3 he's gone at 114. So I think Luke Jackson is probably the last week you'd really want to get on him. I know he's got Grundy, but if he plays on ball, Sydney just don't have anyone that can go with him as a midfielder as well, and then they're a bit decimated at the back. So he could absolutely go massive in any fixture, which is why you'd want Luke Jackson. Alex Taru, I love this pick. I know he's only had, 49 and 48, but the time on ground took a nice bump at the weekend as well, and he's always going to be someone who's going to take marks. I would have loved some of those 14 spoils to be marks and really start to have that confidence to go for those footies, but he'll get there. Billy Wilson, 63% game time with a 25. I think you'd want to see a little bit more from the young midfielder than what we saw against Port, but once again, Carlton were garbage. Jack McRae, I think you can let this one go for a week against Hawthorn and see what he scores, see if he can get up around that break even. I think there will be a time where we'll go Jack Macrae, but hopefully we can get him with an 8 in front of his name. Other than that, I think that's probably it for the trade targets. Let's go into who is being sold. Now, Ned Long, I can understand why people are selling a Ned Long, like 76 and 80 post buy. The time on ground hasn't changed. I think, the tackling's changed. I think these St Kilda and West Coast haven't been highly competitive games of football. So I think, or the West Coast game technically was a highly competitive game of football, but it shouldn't have been. But Ned Long, I feel like he almost needs that real high contested game that's tight, that's close, where he gets these, 9 and 10 and 14 tackles. And I think Carlton will be that kind of game. I expect Collingwood to win comfortably, but I don't expect Carlton to roll over. I don't expect Gold Coast to roll over. I don't expect Fremantle to roll over. So over the next 3 weeks, I actually think Ned Long is a decent hold. He's not going to lose heaps of cash. Like, break even of 106, if he can go 95, he's not going to go down heaps. So he's projected... I don't know what he's projected. I might be able to check that a bit later, but I think he's probably a hold. I feel like you've got other issues. If you've got a Matt Roberts, he has to go. Break even of 120, bleeding cash at the moment. The roll's not great. I know he's gone, well, since the bye, really, he's gone 76.45, and he's just, I think he's on 0 at half time, so I'd be getting rid of Matt Roberts ASAP. Finn O'Sullivan, 5.17, time to cash out. I know he's had a few better games, dropped a stinker, as did most of the North Melbourne side, but time to cash out of Finn O'Sullivan. Zach Johnson, I'm holding this week. I think the break even of 8, there's a bit more cash to be made, and I've got others that I'm willing to cull. Angus Clark, though, on the other hand, I think time for him to go. I think that debut game against Richmond was a bit of an anomaly out on that wing where he's got 8 marks. I think you can definitely sell him. Chera at 127 break even. Do I expect him to hit that? No. Do I expect him to at least get up around 90, 95? 100%. So I think with Adam Chera, I think put it down to Carlton having an absolute stinker against Port Adelaide, and I would be fine holding Adam Chera, albeit for probably 1 more week, and then move him to a super premium next week. Hornet. I understand why people are selling Jason Horne-Francis. I wouldn't be selling if you've got him. I think you just lock him there as your F6 and wait for him to rebound. There's a world where he's up and about, kicks 2 or 3 goals this week against Brisbane, gets back into the CBA, shoulders fine, and away he goes. Then you get West Coast, Hawthorn, Adelaide, Geelong, which is a really good run for midfielders. So I'd be holding Jason Horne-Francis, and I think a lot of people will be targeting him once we see that, big game back playing at full midfield. Caleb Daniel is on my cull list at the moment. 3 70s in a row. The scores just aren't there at the moment. I just don't think the ceiling's there for him. The marks just aren't there. He's taking a lot of kick-ins, but he's not getting the marks at the moment. He's going 3 and 4 marks, and he's capping out in the 70s and 80s. Other than that, I think that's where we will wrap it up. I don't know why you're selling Jack Sinclair if you're selling Jack Sinclair, but that is the most popular moves. If you're having issues with your trades, get them in the comments below. Let me know what your dilemmas are this week. I'm happy to help, but thank you very much for all the people that have been subscribing, liking, and viewing the videos. It does go a long way. So if you can, please smash a thumbs up, get those subscriptions up, share the videos out with your friends that play AFL Fantasy, and I'll see you very, very soon for another video.